There's been a lot of debate, and, a lot of people have been discussing now, what do the Giants do at number 2? Really, for the longest time, it was either take Saquon Barkley or get a quarterback, get 3 of the 4 that'll still be on the board. You take what would appear to be either Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, or Baker Mayfield. Now, all of a sudden, Jason Pierre-Paul now going to Tampa Bay, a lot of people are saying you don't make that trade if you're not taking Bradley Chubb at number 2. And there are a lot of ways that the Giants can do this. I mean, you have the number 2 pick in the draft. There are a lot of things to consider before Dave Gettleman hands in that card in Dallas on draft night in just a little over a month away. You really have to consider the quarterback here. Eli Manning had a bad year last year, and he, under no circumstances, deserved to be benched for it because a lot of it was not his fault. All the wide receivers were hurt. The running game didn't exist. The offensive line was made out of sugar packets. The head coach was clueless. The general manager didn't even know how to spell general manager. The owner had no idea what he was doing. The team imploded from week 3. So a lot of it wasn't Eli's fault. But let's not beat around the bush here. Even in times when he had the opportunity to be good, he was not good. A lot of people are now saying, well, he should be due for a bounce back because of what the Giants did in free agency and what they could do in the draft. I think he'll have a better year. There's no guarantee that Eli Manning will be the quarterback of the Giants in 2019. There's no guarantee that he could be the quarterback halfway through the season. The quarterback option needs to be considered with the number 2 pick in the draft. You have 4 quarterbacks that will all likely go in the top 15 of the draft. In Sam Darnold, who will probably go number 1 at Cleveland, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Baker Mayfield. All 4 of these quarterbacks will likely go within the top 15, top 20. And all 4 of these guys, I feel, can one day be franchise quarterbacks. I understand you need a running game. And I understand the O-line has improved as well. And if Saquon Barkley's there, you're right. It's going to be a tough pass if they decide to go quarterback. Just like it's going to be a tough pass if they decide to take Saquon Barkley. Just like it'll be a tough pass if, for whatever reason, the Jason Pierre-Paul trade was all about bringing Bradley Chubb to the Giants. It is going to be a tough pick regardless. And the funniest part about the whole thing is nobody knows what the Giants are going to do. In fact, there's still the possibility the Giants could trade out of the pick. Nobody knows where this pick is going. And that, to me, is the most interesting part of this whole draft. What do the Giants do at number 2? And yes, you can take Saquon Barkley and be happy with that. You could take Bradley Chubb so that you don't miss a step on your defense. Best defensive end in the draft. No doubt, out of NC State. But at the end of the day, when you look at these quarterbacks in the NFC this year, Eli Manning doesn't match up. When you look at the quarterbacks in the NFC East, he's the 4th best out of the 4 teams. I'll run you down the list. Carson Wentz, Nick Foles if he has to play, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Alex Smith, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Jameis Winston, due for a much better year this year, Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson. It's weird for me to say this. The one quarterback that Eli has over right now, in my opinion, is Sam Bradford. So you need to consider the long-term future, and you'll be doing that with whatever pick that the Giants decide to do. Honestly, in my opinion, this could be one of the hardest picks to get right, because the Giants have to get this pick right. No matter what they do, whether they take Saquon Barkley, whether they take either Allen or Rosen, because they'll be the next top 2 up there, whether you decide to take Bradley Chubb and try to improve that defense more than it already is. But this is the thing. You need to get the pick right. That's what the Giants fans deserve, and that's what the Giants deserve. They need to get this one right. They haven't had a running game in a long time. Their defense got them into the playoffs 2 years ago under Ben McAdoo. That defense got him into the playoffs. Eli Manning was not that good. You need to sit back and understand that Eli Manning is probably not going to be the quarterback of the Giants in 2019. So, do you trust Davis Webb to be the next guy? Do you draft a quarterback because you don't trust Davis Webb, or do you trust Davis Webb and you take the running back in Saquon Barkley? Or do you do neither of that, and the JPP trade was all about bringing Bradley Chubb to New York? And Tampa's going to get a steal with Jason Pierre-Paul. You know, you thought that when he had the accident a couple of years ago with his hand that he would step back. He really didn't. He had a really good year 2 years ago. He had a great year this year. And now he gets to chase around quarterbacks like Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees. That's a win for the Buccaneers, no doubt. You don't know what the Giants are going to do with this pick, and you won't know what they're going to do until the commissioner reads the pick. Now, in my opinion, I personally think they need, right now, to get the next guy in. I don't trust Davis Webb to be the next guy after Eli. I think you need to get the quarterback. You need to get either Allen or Rosen, get them a year under Eli, and have them ready for 2019, because I don't think Eli is going to be the quarterback in 2019. I don't. You have the number 2 pick in the draft. You must consider the quarterback. If you decide to go Saquon Barkley, whatever. If you decide to go Bradley Chubb, that's probably the more shocking way to go. The Giants have been talking about Saquon Barkley for a while. That's been the rumor that they were going to take him. Again, you have the number 2 pick. You need to consider drafting Eli's replacement. Plain and simple. You look at the quarterbacks that Eli has to contend with this year. Kirk Cousins with the Vikings. Alex Smith with the Redskins. Dak Prescott is due for a better year. Carson Wentz is likely to repeat. Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. Russell Wilson's always a good quarterback. Jameis Winston's going to have a better year. Drew Brees. Cam Newton. Honestly, with the quarterbacks and the teams that Eli's got to contend with this year, I'm sorry, they're not doing anything this year. They're not going to the playoffs. This is a rebuilding year. And it starts with the number 2 pick in the draft. Now, to their credit, they've made the signings they needed. Nate Solder, and I thought that was a great signing. It definitely helps improve the O-line. I'm not saying completely write off Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying completely write off Bradley Chubb, which is, in my opinion, one of the more unlikely scenarios. But again, with the departure of Jason Pierre-Paul to Tampa Bay, it may seem a little bit more possible because the Giants have the number 2 pick in the draft, and they will have the best defensive end in the draft sitting right there in front of them. But again, with the year Eli Manning had last year, and again, a lot of it wasn't his fault, but he did not have a good season by any means. He's getting older. He's had a good career. I wouldn't say stellar. I wouldn't say iconic, but he had a good career. 2 Super Bowl rings won by the defenses, but he has 2 Super Bowl rings. We're getting towards the twilight now. Do you really trust Davis Webb in 2019? Go ahead and draft Saquon Barkley or Bradley Chubb with number 2. You going to trust Davis Webb to lead your team to the playoffs? You have the number 2 pick in the draft. Consider the quarterback.